Hello, I'm Alex Chadwick and this is my HTML crash course. You may have noticed that at the time of publishing this video, I've got an ongoing JavaScript tutorial series, and that I recommend you know HTML and CSS before you start it. So I decided to write my own HTML crash course where I'll teach you the basics of HTML in a single video. After publishing this video, I will start working on a CSS crash course so you get the full front-end developer experience. HTML is not a programming language. It is a hypertext markup language. This is a fancy way to say it lets developers let the browser know how to display elements. The current version of HTML is HTML5. So HTML consists of elements. These elements tell the browser how to display different types of content. For example, we've got header contents which tell the browser that some piece of text will be more important. We can also tell the browser to display images, paragraphs, lists, and links, for example. So here we have an example of an HTML file. You can see on the right side of the screen some HTML code. You will notice that the elements consist of a less sign, followed by the name, followed by a greater than sign. After that, we will put in either more elements or our content. After putting in our content, we have to close the tag. We do this by writing a less sign, a forward slash, the name of the element again, and a greater than sign. As you can see, the HTML, head, title, body, and h1 tags all follow this rule. However, you may notice that the first tag in the file does not have a closing tag. This is a special type of tag called empty tag, and empty tags will never have any content inside of it. We're also seeing our first very important tags. These are the doc type tag, the HTML tag, the head tag, and the body tag. Let's go through them really quickly. The doc type HTML tag basically lets a browser know that the following document is going to be HTML5 and not any other version of HTML. Inside the HTML tags, we write all of our HTML code. Inside the head tags, we will write all of the information that the browser will know but won't display to the user usually. Inside the body tag, however, we will have all the elements that will be displayed to the user. We can also see a title tag and an h1 tag. The title tag tells the browser the name of the page the user is visiting, and usually the browser will display this at the top of the window. And search engines will use this tag to name your website on the search results. We can also see we have an h1 tag. This is a header1 tag. It's used to display headings to the user. Here we can see the same piece of code on the left, and on the right we can see what it outputs to the browser. As we can see at the top of the window, we've got what we define in our title tags. And inside the web page, we have a big heading that says Hello World. If you want, you can pause this video now, copy the code in Notepad, and save the file as index.html. Then from your file explorer, you can double-click the file and it will open in your preferred browser. We've got 6 types of headings, ranging from H1 all the way to H6. H1 being displayed as the most important, and H6 being displayed as the least important. We also have a paragraph, which is a P tag. And we also have links, which are A tags or anchor tags. In the example on the right, we can see that in the opening tag, there's more text that reads href equals and a link in between double quotes. Href is what's known as an attribute in HTML. Attributes are used to provide more information to the browser. In this case, the href attribute tells the browser where the link is going to. We also have a tag to insert images, img. This tag is one of those empty tags we talked about earlier, so it won't have a closing tag. You can see in this example that we have multiple attributes. We have a source attribute, src, that lets the browser know where the image is. It can be a path or a link. Next, we have an ALD attribute, or an alternative attribute, that is used for accessibility purposes, and it is what screen readers read whenever the option is enabled on the client system. It is also displayed whenever there is an error with the image. The width and height attributes set the width and the height of the image in pixels. As you may have noticed, all the values for the attributes should go inside quotes. As I've mentioned before, attributes are used to provide more information about the tag to the browser. They're always specified in the start tag. The most important attributes you will be using are href, src or source, width, height, alt, and title. We've already gone through all of these attributes except title. The title attribute must not be confused with the title tag. It is used to display a tooltip on the screen. Sometimes you want to make text bold, italic, smaller, or have a line through the middle, or even mark it. We use the following tags for this. The B tag makes text bold, whilst the strong tag makes text bold and adds importance. The I tag makes text italic, whilst the EM tag also makes it italic but also gives it emphasis. The small tag makes text smaller. The mark tag is able to mark text. And the del tag or delete tag is able to put a line through the text as if it were deleted. Quotation is important if you're writing an article or a blog post, since you might want to cite text from another website or from an author, and we're lucky enough to have HTML tags that will provide this for us. These are different tags we have available to do this. The block quote tag is used for large citations and are usually indented. You can include a cite attribute with a link to the source. The Q tag is used for short citations, and it will surround the content in double quotes. The ABBR tag is used for abbreviations, and you can include a title attribute to display the non-abbreviated form of the content. Finally, we have the address tag, in which we can include physical addresses, and it will display this in italic. Now, it is true that most of these tags don't have that much of an impact on the web page, so why should we use them? The answer is simple. These tags help search engines classify your content. They give information to your browser. They help translation systems too, thus making your web page rank better in its SEO, and it will be more accessible. Tables are extremely important to organize content on your web page. We make use of 4 different tags in order to create a good table. The table tag will have all of these following tags nested in it. When we say a tag is nested, we mean that it's inside another tag. A table row is defined with a tr tag. A table header is defined with a th tag. And a table cell is defined with td. You can style tables with CSS once you learn CSS. You can also use a caption tag right after the opening table tag in order to add a caption to your table. In HTML, we have 2 main types of lists. An unordered list, which has a UL tag and will be displayed as bullet points, and an ordered list, which has an OL tag and will be numbered. Inside these tags, we want to have our list items, which have an LI tag. Classes and IDs are very important in front-end development. We can think of them as names for our elements. They are attributes. The difference between them is that classes can be used to name multiple elements, whereas IDs can only be used in a single element. We will use these names in order to select elements in JavaScript or CSS. HTML also has tags for making forms, inserting graphics, and for different media. However, these topics are slightly more complex and will be covered separately in a future video. Now that we've covered the basics of HTML, let's create a not very good looking website in order to gain some practice with HTML. We will also cover basic tags again, how to actually use them in a project, and we will cover .html files. Right, so I'm just going to go into my folder here, and I'm going to create a new folder. Just gonna call this first website. Just gonna double click in here. Just gonna open it up with code, or if you want, you can just create new text document and delete all of it, even the extension, and call it index.html. You do want to change the extension, so just click yes. And as you can see, your browser icon will appear there if you have it on a grid view like I do. And then you want to open up with Notepad or with a code editor. I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. You can download that if you just Google it online. It's not very complicated. And I'm just gonna wait for this to open now. I wanted to open my new file. Here we go. Right. Visual Studio Code has opened. I'm just gonna start writing tags. So as you can see, the first tag I want to write is doc type. Then I want to type in HTML. Then I'm just gonna type in the HTML tag. And as you can see, this code editor automatically creates the closing tag for me. So I'm just gonna hit enter now. And now I want the head tag. Inside the head tag, I want my title tag. And I'm just gonna write the title of my website here. Just gonna call it my first website. And after the head, I want to type in body. I've got the body tags open. Inside of them, I'm going to start writing all of my code. First piece of code I'm going to write is just a header that says, "Hi, I'm Alex Chadwick." I'm Alex Chadwick. Next, I'm going to write a paragraph. This is my first website. I want to make first website bold. So I'm just going to write the tags for bold. I'm going to delete that tag. It's going to open the bold tag inside of the p tag. It's just going to surround first website. So only first website will be bold. Then I'm going to write a link. Do that by starting with the opening tag, A. We want an href. Href is going to equal, and in between double quotes, it's going to write the name of a website. And as for what's going to be displayed on the web page, it's going to be, this is my favorite. So far, we have a title, a header, a paragraph, and a link. Next thing I'm going to do, I want an unordered list. I'm just going to write in UL. If I hit tab in Visual Studio Code, it automatically creates an opening and a closing tag. Between the UL tags, I want to write my list items. So the first item is going to be links. Second item is going to be lists. And the third item is going to be tables. Just going to write above the UL. Today, I've learned about. After my list, I want a table. So I'm just going to create a table here. Inside the table, I want a new row. So I'm just going to write dr. And I want a header here. So I can just write th. Going to be name. And another th, which is going to be animal. And in the next row, I want a td and the name of my animal. So in my first pet was Molly. And then I want the type of the animal, which is a cat. It's going to do this a few times. More pets, but I don't want to make this too long, so that would be enough for the time being. And that would be our first web page. However, I do want to give this table a name. So if we just go up here, I can just write P, table of pets. We'll go back to our file explorer. We double click this. It should open in our browser. Always use this app to open .html files. And as you can see, here we've got a table, we've got our paragraph, lists. We also have here our other paragraph, a link. If we open this in a new tab, you can see it does indeed go to YouTube. This is bold, and we've got a big header. And here on top, we also have my first website as the title. So as you can see, it's really, really easy to get started with HTML. And in the next upcoming videos, I'm going to try to do a CSS crash course, and I'm going to try to teach you how forms work in HTML. If you like this video, please do like and subscribe to view more content. I am still working on my JavaScript videos. I think if statements and loops might be coming up next. So I hope you enjoy this, and please do like and subscribe. That would be very helpful, and it's very motivating.